Let me make sure that we're good. Carla and I are just chit-chatting over here. And then I look and hello, there's a bunch of people waiting to come into the meeting. I'm so sorry. Totally my mistake. Audrey! Hey! Oh my gosh, Audrey, I've missed you so much.
Happy
How are
New Year.
you? Happy New Year. How's everything going?
Yes, it's going. I'm doing good.
Oh my gosh, it's nice to see your face. And Leticia, my walking buddy. Oh my gosh. It's nice to see you. So somebody sounded like Dr. Tammy. Dr. Tammy's not here?
No, that was me, Lisa.
No, you did not sound like Dr.
Yeah, but
Tammy.
they sounded alike, didn't they?
Here she comes.
Yeah, she did.
You sounded just like her. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous now.
Yes, she did.
I am so nervous. She needs to know that you can do that, whatever you did.
We'll have to have a test. Everybody close their eyes and then you two say something.
Oh my gosh. So we're going to do a quick round of introductions. But before we do that, oh my gosh, Dr. Tammy, are you here? Can you hear us?
I can. I just finished my yoga Pilates class. So I'm moving from downstairs to upstairs. So, but I'm here.
I love it. I love it. Yoga Pilates. That just sounds wonderful. Oh my gosh. So Leticia comes into this meeting and she sounded just like you. In fact, I don't know what she said. She said good morning or something. And if Dr. Tammy, I'm not kidding you. I wasn't even recording at that point. I should have been. It sounded just like you. I was like, oh my gosh. So I just want to say that.
Well, hopefully she said something great. Because hopefully that's what you associate with me.
She did. She did. She said, it is a good morning or something like that, right, Leticia?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was just so weird because I wasn't looking over there. I was just looking over here. So anyway, okay. So I want to thank everyone for coming to the meeting today. In the chat, I'm going to drop the Google Doc if you have access to be able to see multiple screens, but you don't have to go there if you don't want to. For those of you who have been on the planning team before, you already have access to this document. So, and if you don't, just request it. If you are new to planning with us here at TEDx, you're going to see a red square that's going to say, do you want to be part of the team? And then you're just going to apply to be on the team. It's not an application process where we deny you. You're filling it out so that you can have a waiver signed that you're going to comply with the guidelines of TED. Does that make sense? Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with just a few introductions because we do have, and I know there are some other people who maybe can't make it today, but they've come to previous meetings. So I just want to start off by saying that I am the licensee of TEDxColePark, and I work with the team to organize TEDx, but I don't own TEDx. Does that make sense? So like TEDx is owned by the community. It's owned by the world. Nobody owns TEDx. TEDx is everyone. Nobody gets paid to do TEDx events. This is all, everyone just does it because they care. And they have maybe one day watched a TED Talk that changed their lives or moved them in a direction of more, Dr. Tammy. So I think that for me, hi, Stephanie, I see the hearts for you too, Steph. So for me, TED is, I've been a member of the TED community for years. And so I did my first TED event like in 2012, but even before that, I knew what TED was. And I had been fighting to get TED in Corpus for so long. And then finally in 2012, we were able to find an organizer who had done one before to come and help us do one here. But so I've just been a TEDxter for a long time. And so I'm fully committed to this process and this event. So I say that because I'm like, if things are falling, it's okay. I will figure out a way where I won't sleep that night and we'll figure it out together. So that's my role here, is just to make sure that we continue to tell stories and share ideas, because I know that it's impactful in people's lives. And then in my screen, I think next we can have Carla introduce herself.
Well, good morning. I'm sorry I'm late to the party. I wanted to be here a couple of weeks ago, but I just wanted to come and offer whatever I can, my hands, my feet, because I absolutely support the TEDx messages, and it's so inspiring. And so if I can make a difference somewhere, please call on me. Let me do that for you.
Of course, I'm on mute. What do you do for a living, Carla?
I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones, and I'm at home, so that's why you have my my logo. I wouldn't have put that on if I were at my office, but
Oh, yeah.
that's what I do. But that's
Cool.
my superpower during the week. But
I love it.
I also run a site called the Coastal Bend Volunteer Connection. So it's a community resource for volunteers.
Oh my gosh, that's what we need here. We need a bunch of volunteers. The Coastal Bend volunteer. I didn't even heard about that. Volunteer connection. Wow, we definitely need a bunch of volunteers to pull this together. So you are the right person in the right place. We need you here. Yeah, awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Carla. Next is Leticia Wilson.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone, on this sensational Saturday. My name is Leticia Wilson. I am a human being. That's a culmination of all my experiences. And I'm so happy to be in the room with these facilitators, planners, movers and shakers, local community heroes, and especially with my friend Lisa and Barbara, who I know, and Dr. Tammy, who I know, and Andrea, who I know, and Stephanie. I said, oh my goodness, I'm coming into the room with people that I already know or I'm already acquainted with. So to be in good company makes my heart swell. So I am in my professional role, the Director of Advising Initiatives at Del Mar Community College, which is the comprehensive college in our Coastal Bend area. And outside of that, I am an auntie. I am a mentor. I'm a motivator. I am a friend. I'm a big sister. So I love what I do. And I have always revered TEDx because when I'm looking for that motivation myself, if I'm looking for resources for a talk, if I'm just looking to say, you know what, I need something to fill me up, I look up TEDx quite frequently. And it's been for the past decade. So I wanted to be a part of this sensational group because my friend, Dr. Tammy, spoke on the Red Dot stage and she inspired me. And she inspires me each and every day. So I'm grateful to be in this space with you all. And thank you, Lisa.
Wow, Leticia. Okay, who's I'm like, is that a TED talk already? Like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. Okay,
Yes,
that
who
is the way.
inspires me?
Let me tell you something, yeah. If somebody says, okay, introduce yourself, and then that's what happens. Like, what? That was just amazing, honestly. Like that is just that introduction of yourself. You could just clip that and just like post it somewhere and it would go viral. That is amazing. We are so glad to have you here. We're sensational. I even put sensational, Leticia. You're amazing. That was such a great introduction. You are truly a motivator. I feel motivated. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we have Andrea.
Hi, I'm Andrea Johnson. I am the co-founder for C Math is Easy. And we teach foundational math and anything that's non-traditional from child to career in mathematics. We're authors, we're writing books, we're getting ready to launch our nursing math workbook, our basic math workbook. We're making ebooks, and I'm a parent to a teenager, 14-year-old. And I'm here, TEDx, basically a follower of Liza, and just love being a part of what she's doing, and it keeps me motivated, and it sees that I can how to step up to do something even more so. And because of her and the meetings, I never thought to read books. I mean, not read books, to write books. But we went to a meeting one day about how to write a book. And we've already finished up our 4th book since then. And so, so I'm just tagging along on her coattail,
Oh.
and just being a part and trying to be more a part of my community.
I love it. And you're just being yourself. I think like we went to that session together and y'all, so we went to this session together. I'm like, okay, everyone come to this book writing session. And before I even had one book, okay, she had 3 books written, okay? So I'm just saying she's just amazing and she came into herself. Like everyone comes into themselves in different ways, right? So I think as soon as you started writing, Andre, you could stop. It was just like, and best-selling books too, right? So Leticia, you are at Del Mar, the Del Mar library, the Del Mar bookstore sells their book. So it's just, yeah, and sold out. So yeah, amazingness. Glad to have you here, Andrea. And then next we have Barb, who I met last week, and Leticia knows Barb.
Hang on. Okay.
Hi, Barb.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Barb Craig. I recently retired from teaching English and speech at Del Mar. And I always used TED Talks in my classroom. And so I last year was really excited to see we were having one in Corpus, and I went to that, attended virtually. And then when Liza asked for volunteers, I thought, well, here I am.
I love it.
Perfect.
And last week you said that you would help anyone who needs help with speaking. You would.
Yes, I did.
And if you need a little push, like you, so if you're nervous and you don't know
I
whether
will
you
be
want to give a
your-
talk,
Your cheerleader.
yes,
I'm good at being a cheerleader.
yeah, she will help unpack your talk with you if you want to. So it's
I,
so great.
For many years did a stress management workshop for employees, and I can pass some of those techniques along.
Ooh, maybe we need a stress management workshop one of these sessions. I love that. All right, I see Dr. Tammy's like, yes. And you're next, Dr. Tammy.
Hello, everyone. Good to see everyone. Hey, Carol.
Hey.
I'm Carla. I'm from LinkedIn. Yes. Barb, oh my goodness, it's been a minute. Good to see you. Good to see you. So I am Dr. Tammy. I am your success strategist and literacy educator. I help purpose-driven leaders move in the direction of more and prepare for what's next. I do some of everything. I'm a mom. I'm, an educator. I am an entrepreneur. I am growing in this space. And it's been amazing. And I will say that if I know this is the planning committee, but if any of you are considering speaking, you should do that. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience. It was a learning experience for me. I learned some things about myself as a speaker and just as a person in that process, and actually it connected some dots for me. And since then, the things that I've been doing lately has really, because of that clarity, I've been merging spaces. So I've been speaking at different colleges and universities around the state the last couple of weeks, really connecting my worlds, which I've been trying to do for years. And that's been my strategy, but it's just kind of all coming together. So thank you all for having me here. And I can go on. I do some of everything. I travel, I do retreats, I do it all. So if you need something to help you on your journey toward more, connect with me and we'll go there. We're even reading the book and talking about some of the seeds in the book, Reap More. So yeah, I do some of everything. Yeah.
I love it. Yes, I love how you and Leticia just have your introductions down. I need to like rehearse my introductions better. Dr. Tammy, you're a success strategist, and I don't even know what it is, but it's too perfect. And one day you're going to be viral and everybody will be introducing themselves like that.
I'm hoping so. I'm starting to hear moving in the direction of more, a lot more now. So
I am finding myself say that. Like I'll find myself literally saying something and go, I sound like Dr. Tammy.
I was in a broadcast and another lady, she was saying that we're going to move in the direction of more like Dr. Tammy. And I was thinking it's starting to catch on, that little tagline. So I think it's time to actually trademark it.
It is. Manifest more, reap more, move in the direction of more, Dr. Tammy.
Look, I have it in books and I have it that way. I have it copyrighted that way, but it's now time to probably trademark that.
You should. You really should.
It's worth the money now.
Yeah. And now we have Stephanie Gallegos. Stephanie, so nice to see you.
Good to see you again. I'm glad
my goodness.
A reminder.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. You're so amazing. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Stephanie Gallegos. I think I know some of you already from the planning committee and then from Del Mar. I was an adjunct professor and I worked as a graduation coach there for a little while. And currently I'm teaching science at Miller High School. So I think we're all a little bit of Janes of all trades. So doing a little everything. I really love being involved in my community, and I'm glad that Liza put this together and gave the community an opportunity to just say like, yeah, I want to be part of it and let us kind of, join in on the process. So excited again for this next one.
Yes. Oh, and it's kind of started with a bang. So I think a lot of the stuff that we had done last time, last time I think we kind of went on a wave of kind of get to know each other and figure out what everyone likes to do. But now, because we do have the beauty of the fact that we've done this before together, right? So this is like it was not a new team anymore, right? So we have some new players that are coming in, but we're not starting from scratch. So I think that's the exciting part, is we have the foundation already laid, and now it's about optimizing, as we like to say in my world. We're going to optimize this now. So, which is why we very swiftly moved into a few activities that we would have typically waited, which is deciding on the theme, deciding on the date of when we're going to select speakers. We just accelerated that because from last time, I think we didn't give, and you can watch our previous meeting where we discussed this, we didn't give the speakers enough time to prepare and get their talks right before we recorded them. And the recording happened so fast and there was no time for retake. That day I just wasn't feeling it. We want to give the speakers an opportunity to be their best. So this time, if you look at the timeline right now, we have February 15th is the deadline for applications. So that's coming up pretty quickly, right? And the reason is because we want to be able to have the speakers selected by the 20th. That way they have until May to get their talk really good, right? We want to be able to put on a really good trend. We want the speakers to feel comfortable about their talks. So one of the things that I just want to level set here is Zoraida. I don't think she's making it. She would have been here if she was, but she did give me some information that I should share. We did talk about using different production, I guess, different types of production people to help produce the show in terms of the filming of the speeches. So I talked to Zoraida over the phone over this, and so I want to share with you all what we discussed. It was really interesting because we talked about how we want to give everybody an opportunity to have a really good TED Talk. But the way TED is leading now is they're giving us free reign to make the talks however we want. And so I was envisioning an opportunity where everyone who gets selected to talk will be able to produce the talks like we did for this last opportunity. We got for example, the Aurora Theater, and we had one day and everyone got there and filmed their talks. But for people who may want to take their talk to the next level and make it like a mini documentary, which is what I'm seeing now, by the way, on the TED website, is some of the TED Talks coming out are like mini documentaries, okay? Like it's like 6 to 12 minutes of wowness, right? So it's not just a speaker speaking. You get to this B-roll of maybe their story. They're on location at some place, right? So the first talk that comes to mind for me is Aisen Campbell talking about your garden is your sanctuary. And I see her redoing her talk in her garden, right? And when she talks about like digging in there and we bring the red dot and we put it there and like, you know what I mean? So I totally see her talk coming to life more as she's giving this talk and she's in the dirt. She talked about the dirt in her nails. I remember her talk really well. It really resonated with me. And I see her doing that, picking up the dirt, cut, okay, next scene, I see that, and then us making a talk, right? So we want to provide two options for our speakers, depending on how much funding we have. And oh, by the way, people have already started donating. So on our website right now, if you go and buy a ticket, right, it's free to come to the event, but then there's a little like subtle like nudge to say, hey, but you can donate, and it kind of gives you the nudge of this is put on by volunteers, we're really doing this from the kindness of our hearts and sometimes our pocketbooks. So can you think about donating? So some people are giving, $5 here, $10 there. It all adds up at the end, right? So if we have 200 people coming, that all adds up, y'all. So that's good. But we may not have enough money to make somebody's like epic documentary talk come to life, because we were talking about Gerald, who hosts, I don't know if you guys know Elena Flores. She's the owner of So Bonita, and she does Loca for Loco. And so, and I know her from that, but then apparently her husband is a video producer and he has a show called The Taco Chair, which is nationally recognized. And it is well done. Like it's like, wow, like he's a good producer. So I can see how, if I'm just imagining, if I was going to give a TED talk, then I wouldn't mind paying to have Gerald produce my talk. I could still come and TEDx community would have me on the stage and they would record me and we would record my talk. But if I wanted to take my talk to the next level, right? So if somebody is willing to take their talk to the next level, we want to be able to provide that option. Does that make sense? Okay, so the way we talked about it was there's also another company called Twins Media. So I know the Twins Media folks because they were part of Toastmasters. They had joined Toastmasters. When was it? Like 3 years ago. That's when I met them. And so that's kind of how I got to know those two twins. They're actually twins who do media production. And then obviously we're still going to try to get, Jonathan Swindle and Russell Selman to help with the production on site like they did at the Aurora Theater. But is this making sense where there's an option, right? We can produce your talk, but you can also pay extra. You can pay extra for these people to make it amazing.
So will it be the same speakers having the option, or is that kind of a different thing? Is it under the same criteria, same evaluation process, or is that more you submit the application, but it's more of a voluntary thing? Like if you're willing to pay for it, you're willing to do it, then it's more like, how we had the other TED Talks kind of in the middle, we had kind of other people talking. Will those be included like that and not a part of the official speaker lineup? Or is it
they're going to be part
10
of the
speakers, some of those 10 just happen to be the different version? Or how do you see that looking?
No, I see everybody, like it's all the 10. So like, let's just say, for example, we selected the 10 like we had last time, right? We would have a meeting with them and say, because of just the circumstances of the situation, I'm just thinking like some people came to give a TED Talk just to give a TED Talk. They didn't do this because they had a brand that they were building, or they wanted their talks to have mileage. Does that make sense? And
yes,
then
that's why I'm asking, because I want to see, because I don't want to take up a speaker slot, but I would want that done and do that as a past speaker or whatever, and so that. So that's why I was asking, like, is it all the same category, or are those two different?
Yeah.
Things, anyway.
So from my perspective, I think that we're going to select the speakers, and then we'll let the speakers decide whether they're going to do, I almost say whether you're going to do the TED Talk or you're going to do the premium option, which means the premium options means you're paying for it. Right. Does that make sense? It's almost like they're paying for it. Like, I don't want to put that on us to be able to raise funds for like $1,000.
Here's an idea.
Uh-huh.
If we got enough money, it all depends on that. If we got enough donations, maybe we could like have a prize. Like once we select the speakers, we could decide one of those people we're going to pay for the premium for one of the people.
I wouldn't want to do it that way, because it's almost like we've already selected the 10 speakers, and then I don't know. I would feel bad like everyone didn't get a premium. I think it would be. Okay. Yeah. Because even selecting the speakers themselves was tough. The people who didn't get selected last time, I'm gonna message them and be like, apply again, please, because you were really good. It's just that we could only pick 10. You know what I mean? So, and the reason I'm giving this option is because I know that there are some people who gave their talks, but they wanted to take it to the next level, like Belkis even. Remember Belkis?
Yes. Yeah, she had all her, she had her props and stuff. Yeah.
Can you imagine her getting fully produced, right? Like her talk would have gone viral, like on TED.com, and it will. I think I want to bring her back, Okay, so I see the idea there, Barb, of collecting enough money.
I get it.
One person, but then it almost feels like, well, what about the other 9? They were not that good.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So we want to give them the option. It doesn't mean that their talk won't be produced to the quality that we did the best quality we could, under COVID circumstances, to have a studio place where we had the red dot and we had the sign made. Thank you, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, for doing that. And we did it really well. So it's not like anyone who goes on stage is going to be like just filmed from iPhones, right? It's still going to be good. But if you want to make your talk more documentary style, right? Telling a story in terms of visual, even like the visual story is very important, right? I'm open to that. But again, I don't want to put that on us to be able to collect sponsorship and partnership funding for that. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so I see something in the chat. Maybe we could ask who wants the premium option, give them the cost, and if the funds we can assist. Yeah, yes, exactly, right? So we can ask, but I would even go as far as saying, like, if somebody wants to do the premium option, then they need to just decide immediately, because they would need to start working with Gerald immediately, like to start to produce it, So I don't know about us helping with the funds. I think there's another, Stephanie, you don't know this, but there's another thing that we have. We have another license. It's called the TEDx Studio license. And that TEDx Studio license, I can see how it was really hard. The funding that we got last time was really hard to get whatever we got. And everything that we got last time was, I think, almost like, I don't want to say that that's all people are going to give, but it almost feels like, you know, like it's really hard for people to give a lot of money for something like this. Does that make sense? Especially businesses, because I think they're not seeing the return on maybe an online event versus, because if it was in person, we could, it's very easy to tell them, like, I'm just thinking of Carla right now, because you're there, you got your logo, that, hey, you can have a table, you know, or, you know what I mean? Like you would have presence at the event that's bigger than just on our website, you know? And I think we
There's more return for their investment for
Mhm,
like an in-person event, I guess,
mhm, mhm.
right now.
Yeah. So so I think I just wanted to be able to provide those two options. We're still going to do the talks like we're going to do them anyway. We were going to book the location and have the talks filmed, and it doesn't have to be just one day. We could decide how we're going to do it, but I still want to give other people who do want to, like, I think Michelle was also another one who would have wanted that option, because her business is based off of, she wanted to use the TED Talk to elevate, to boost her business, right? So I don't know if y'all, anyway, the whole point here is I wanted to bring it up so that we can make sure it makes sense for everybody. So let me know anyone else's thoughts, right? So there's the option that we could pay if we have a lot of money. Who knows, somebody maybe listening right now has a big bank account and just says, I have $10,000, whatever you need. Yeah. But if y'all are okay with that, then when the speakers get selected, we would give them the option of working with for a highly produced show, talk that they would want to have on the TED website.
Yeah, I was just reading through the studio license, like the document you put on there. So that's
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
I
a
wouldn't-
whole
that
other
way.
thing though. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have a different conversation about studio. But that's how that came up, was actually through the studio thing. And so like Dr. Tammy, you want to redo your talk, let's just imagine, studio style. Does that make sense? And so we would do it under that studio license. That's what I'm imagining, because I would want to have this, I wouldn't want to have this opportunity to be for new talkers, if that makes sense.
For
right?
the studio.
For this event, for the May event,
Yeah.
I would want to have, I wouldn't want to have like, okay, Dr. Tammy applied again and she does selected again. You know what I mean? Not that we wouldn't select you again, Dr. Tammy. People have given multiple TED Talks. It's just that I would give priority to people who've not talked before on a TED stage. Does that make sense? I would want our curation team to do that. Do you all agree about that?
No, but
Okay.
I'm just biased.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, I just think
You
like,
know?
yeah.
But
I think we would probably want to do something like maybe give some space between selection, right? Because then it would end up, maybe if there was people who didn't get accepted, then it may seem like favoritism, right? Because here we are, we just selected
yeah,
somebody who's already spoken before. Yeah, I know, Dr. Tammy, stop it.
Put in the
Okay.
work. You put in the work, you get.
I know. Which is why I'm really happy about the studio opportunity, because with the studio opportunity, you can give 100 talks if you want to in the same year, and we'll help you produce them.
Just one.
Yeah, just one really good one. Yes. So get your talk ready, Dr. Tammy. And are you going to apply again? I'm guessing maybe you might now.
No, because you just told me no.
No, it doesn't mean you can't. We just give priority considerations to the people who have.
No, I wasn't going to
Okay.
apply it again, because we had talked about in the previous meeting about the studio option.
Yeah,
but that's
yeah.
why I was wondering about the documentary. Like, is that, because I would think the studio option would be kind of like that documentary thing too.
Right.
You know
The
what I mean? Like
studio-
it would
right.
have that option too. And so that's why I was just asking, is it just for TEDx speakers, or is it actually an option for anyone who's willing to pay for it, whether you do the studio option or the actual TED Talk? You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. And
that
I
option
would
is
say
available.
both. I
Okay.
would say for both, because I know that if you would have, let's just imagine, if you would have had that option for your TED Talk this time, would you have taken it?
Last time, yes.
Right.
Because
You
as
see-
a business owner, I would have wanted to do that. Like the TED Talk last time, I was just wanting to get my feet wet and just do it. So, you know, initially I was like, I didn't like that wasn't an option, but now that I know it's an option, I would want that because then it would be more of a brand thing and showing my
Yeah.
journey and really showing my journey.
Yeah.
Right. So it'd be a little different. Of course, my talk would probably be slightly different too, but be quite different than, you know, because I would be positioning it where I am now, dealing with diversity, equity, and inclusion, and what the work that I'm really doing, like my research area.
Yeah.
And I would tailor it toward that rather than before. I just kind of did it on what my core values and you know that
Yep.
kind of thing, where I was just talking about purpose and really aligning your purpose with your passion, and that's what I did that talk on. So I would do, and that's why I was just asking if I did the studio version, would I still have the documentary option, or is it still just kind of this basic TED Talk? And that's
No,
why I
you
was just
would.
asking, is it only available for those who are applying? Because I wasn't going to apply. I was just going to
No,
do the background this time.
no. It's available for everyone. Sorry, based off of the conversation I had with Soraya, which is pretty much where you're in line with Dr. Tammy, she also agrees that we should give the option to everybody. So everyone so when we have the TEDx Studio conversation, TEDx Studio, I would hope if all the TEDx Studio talks are highly produced, I would prefer that, you know, but if not, then that's totally fine, you know, but for this talks, I don't want to put anybody in a situation where they get selected for a talk and they're like, well, I don't have that much money to spend on this. They don't have to. We are still going to produce their talk. It's just that if you want to take it to the next level, like I don't want to put the pressure on us as a team to come up with who's going to do a highly produced talk, who's not. Like that's favoritism even sometimes, you know? So it's kind of like, I don't want that whole thing of diluting the whole thing of feeling like everyone has an equal opportunity here. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
I have a question around that timing. Your selection is on the 20th so that you can allow them, if they decide to do the premium, to have time and space to work with Gerald or whoever. Will you also, my thought is if you have 10 applications and 9 of them decide to go full premium, but that one person didn't, I'm just wondering if you're going to go back and let them know. I just want to let you know everybody else is doing.
No.
I didn't want to, from a production standpoint, have anybody feel like they didn't know that everybody was, you know, if I'd known everybody was doing that, I would have figured it out maybe, or.
Well, nothing is a secret. They come to the meetings. Once you get selected as a speaker, you're part of the community. So they'll know that you'll know, but I doubt that that's going to happen. And actually, if that does happen, then it's not like the talk we would do, like for example, at the Aurora Theater, right? It's not like there were bad talks, you know, it's not like it's just a bad recording because they did do the different angles.
Right.
It's just the effort that it takes for even us to, because it's interesting. I was talking to Soraya about something completely different, and then this came up. And while I was talking to her, I told her, I said, wow, if we're going to do these highly produced talks, like, would I need to be on location when they're filming and da-da-da? And then we were both literally on the phone. I think we both realized, like, I don't have the capacity to like show up to every single person's highly produced talk and like help them through it because we're paying for it, you know? So that's when I was like, you know, if they decide that they want their talk to be highly produced, then they need to take that on themselves and work with Gerald, right? To work with him and his schedule. You know what I mean? Like we'll help them craft their talk, but now it's on them, and financially too, you know, because then then they're on it, you know, not me saying, hey, we just paid like $500 for you to produce your talk and you haven't even like practiced your talk, you know. Or you haven't even met with Gerald once. So we kind of like went back and forth like that. And so I think that's kind of how I just came to the realization that, you know what, I want to make it an option. And you know what, some people, nobody may even select the highly produced talk. They may all say, you know what, it's my first time, I just want to do what you guys can give me. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah. So, okay, so it opened up another, not can of worms, but it opened up another thing, which is, remember last time we did, when we were selecting the speakers, we wanted to make sure that it was a true representation of Corpus Christi as a community, right? So like not just Corpus Christi, but our South Texas community. So when we were selecting speakers, priority consideration was given to 7841 zip code, right? Whatever our zip codes are here, because everybody puts their zip code when they apply. So I think it's going to be just helpful to know that in this case, logistically, I think even people who may not physically live here, maybe, COVID has made them have to go somewhere else, but they do have an affinity to Corpus, right? I would say we may even, would you guys be okay with that? If somebody doesn't physically live here, but they do have some connection to Corpus Christi, would that be okay if they also apply to talk? Hello, Belkis.
I'll talk on that. Hi, Belkis. I think if their talk like falls in line of the theme, I think it's okay if they're in South Texas region. Like if
Okay.
they're coming from like Ohio, well, even then, like if they can speak to the theme, and kind of like you said, you have some connection to Corpus Christi or incorporate Corpus Christi, like, oh, I'm from, yeah, I keep on going with the I words, Iowa, but I did research on this area and that's why I want to talk to the community about it. I think that's okay.
Okay.
Or for my opinion, I guess.
Okay.
My thing would be more, it's not necessarily the person and where they're from. Like if they're from Corpus, yeah, like the connection, I like that. That's not a concern of mine. The concern would be the actual production, because they would have to video their talk in their location with a different team. And so like, even though, we learned some things about our talks and production this fall, they were all the same. Like there was some consistency. And so it didn't stand out that somebody, had this, because they may have an amazing, they're in the Atlanta area. I'm just thinking like they're in a big city. So they're in Atlanta, they may have an access to like something amazing and like whatever. So so it would stand out that they're somewhere else.
Like that was not Corpus,
That was not Corpus, and that was
Yeah.
totally different. Like it wouldn't be the Aurora Theater, it wouldn't have the same background, the same feel. And so that would be my concern, would just be the consistency. And we're, Carla was talking about that difference and standing out. I think that would, I don't know.
That it would be obvious, right?
It would be obvious, and I think it would put the other speakers like, well, like we don't even have access to that, like we're not in that location.
Yeah.
So I just so that's my thing, like the production, like even the on location stuff, like even if they chose the documentary, like theirs would be like
Different.
in a totally different city, like and so that would be my concern. It's just,
and it's our TEDxColePark.
Yeah. How would that ColePark play out in Atlanta? How would that ColePark play out in a different city? And that would be my thing, more the production side, rather not even their talk, not even who they are, not even how connected they are to Corpus. They could have been born here and never been back. Like that's not necessarily my concern. My concern is more of the production part. Like, what does that look like, and how does that translate on to the audience that's coming in? If we have TEDxColePark, but they're in Atlanta.
Got it.
I agree, but I'm also concerned about the community aspect. I think TEDx is our community, and I want to give Corpus people and South Texas people an opportunity to shine. And I would kind of hate, to me, it would ruin what I think of as TEDx to have somebody from Iowa or Atlanta, or even if they grew up here, even if they did research here, unless they moved away like last year. I think it needs to be local to give local people the opportunity. If we're competing against all of the country, I'm not fond of that.
Right. Like, is Atlanta going to select a Corpus person to go speak there? And that probably, I would say the answer.
And if we want to get viewers from Corpus, want to increase the audience, I think part of that draw is these are our people.
I like that. Okay. Well, that seals that deal right there. So I will move on, just in the interest of time, to the next topic that I had, which is we have 2 people who've applied to speak so far, and we need a lot more than that. So if everyone can please help and just spread the word. I know that there's a link. If you look, there's a link in that document that I had chat, and I think Belkis dropped in, right? Hey, Belkis. Mama Belkis.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm the favorite baby and all.
I know you're here to listen maybe, but nice to see you. So we have a folder that says like our TEDx photos and graphics to use. Feel free to go in there and like grab any photos if you want to post them on your social media, and just invite people to apply to speak, please.
Okay, well, if you're only gonna have 9 speakers, I'm applying. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, we need, I was thinking 10, right? So like, we only have 2 people
I
who
don't kick
applied.
anybody out, but you have enough. So
Please apply. No, and Dr. Tammy, I didn't mean that we wouldn't select you. I was just meaning we would give priority considerations. So
no,
I would say
no,
apply.
I completely agree, and that's why I wasn't.
Should I not reapply?
Yes, you can.
Apply again, Belkis,
But-
because we have an idea for you.
And Lisa, I agree. I think the priority should be given to those who haven't. I was just saying, that's why I was just saying, like, if you don't have enough, then yes, I am applying,
We
'cause I
don't
want to
have
try
enough.
this again and do it right. And no, I want to do it right this time. So since we've learned some things along the way. But
Yes.
if there's enough, I would rather it go to people who haven't spoke, because I've already done it. I'm good. Like I said, I would
Yeah.
want to do the studio thing, but that's different, that's a
Yes.
different committee. But so that's why I was just saying, like, if you have 9, let me know.
Yes. So Dr. Tammy's, you better apply. Just apply, right? So I would hate like the deadline passed and you didn't apply and then we let you apply later. That's not good. Apply now, okay? So everybody who wants to be considered, please apply. It doesn't mean that, we're not going to allow you or we are going to allow you. Sorry to have put that out there. Please apply. You can give 10 TED Talks. If you go and look at some TED Talkers, they have tons of TED Talks on stage. So please apply. So the goal here is that we need as many people to apply for these to apply. But the other thing I also want to bring up is that one of the things we were told by TED is that we need to make sure that our talks are less personal stories, because that's one of the dings we got, was everybody was sharing a personal story and there wasn't any education. It was mostly like, look what I went through and look what I learned. Look what I went through and look what I learned. And so we're looking for more, they want less personal stories and more, they want us to do a mix of less personal stories, more innovative ideas, and more, I guess, studies, research. Maybe somebody did some research on something and they're presenting it. Yes, it may be connected to their personal story, but it's something that maybe they do in their profession. So if you know anyone who's doing any innovative work, I know that in our last meeting we had, I don't know if you can remember, Barb, we had Elizabeth there. She was a potential speaker and she was telling us about, oh, was it you, Barb? You were telling us about Raíces. Yes. So we're trying to find somebody from Raíces to come and talk about Raíces, right? When I researched it and I was like, wow, we need them to come and talk to us about dealing with immigrants at the border. That would be a great talk, right? When we're talking about justice, equity, and diversity and inclusion, that will be a great team. So if you know any other organization, like for example, I think.
Well, I was going to contact Tacos Not Bombs and Street Books. I haven't done it, but I'm going to do it this week.
Please do. We need maybe the founder of Tacos Not Bombs, whoever else maybe does homeless street ministry out there. We need people like that who are doing something. It doesn't mean that they don't have a personal story, but what I'm hearing from TED is, okay, but what, like, what have you done? So I think we just need to maybe hone in on innovative ideas. I think one of the professors who I haven't reached out to is Dr. Amy Sanford. Dr. Amy Aldridge Sanford. She wrote the book From Thought to Action, which is really a social justice book. And I would love to have her unpack it on the TED stage. Does that make sense? Like almost like give her talk about why did she write that book and what is that book about? How do you go from thought to action? How do you go from thinking about being anti-racist to actually being anti-racist? What does that actually mean? And so I think having her would be good. I don't know if she would be willing to, but so think of people like that, right? Who have had a point of view on something and already created something for it. Does that make sense? Because they're not going to come and apply. We have to go to them and go, please apply. We really want you to come, right? I think that's part of it too, is finding people in the community who they are doing great work and we can bring them here so we can use them here for the community to know about them. That's all I had. We really need to promote talks, but we also, I think from the email they sent really stern emails. It sounds like we really have to just make sure we don't do a lot of personal stories. So I think when we're reviewing the talks, I want to make sure that we have at least some talks in there that are not personal stories.
because in the last couple of years they moved a lot towards a lot of the inspirational motivational stuff, and I think from what I was realizing, they were trying to move, not like totally abandon it, but move away from it and stick to what their original intent and purpose, which was basically to spark new
Mhm.
ideas, new ways of being and thinking. Yeah. I have
Exactly. Mhm. Yes.
one of my passions, and it's a book that I've been working on, has been about abuse and grooming, the subtle ways a community allows for grooming, and what we can do about that. With stuff along those lines be considered innovative enough?
And you said grieving?
Grooming, you know what grooming is?
Oh, grooming. Sorry, I heard grieving.
Not your personal grooming, but when you are conditioning youngsters with subtle manners
Oh, got
to
it,
be
got it.
susceptible for not
Hmm.
too nice behaviors. Or it don't even be youngsters, it could be anybody else.
That's
There's subtle,
totally in line because that has to do with your identity. And I think when we talk about diversity and having having the understanding that everyone's authentic self is what we're looking for, and grooming them to know that your authentic self is what is important. Is that what you're talking about?
no, I'm talking about in societies. For example,
Mhm.
sometimes you have that families, and this, I don't know, I see this happen sometimes in big families where they come together. You have all these great events. Now you have an uncle or aunt, the uncle is usually, who usually makes these weird comments to one of the little girls in the family, or would touch them inappropriately. And it's family, so you think it's nothing, grooming, subtle behavior and messages that we said that rewires the subconscious of youngsters so that when they're actually in danger, when there's a big action move to say abuse them or something, they don't resist because they have already been groomed or prepared
Mm.
for
Mhm.
this particular thing. And a lot of times there are subtle things in our societies that we allow
Mhm.
that basically is why our kids are afraid to speak up and say no. A lot of times kids don't say no because they don't know something is wrong. They
Mhm.
don't resist simply because it's kind that thing has been taken away from them from the
Yeah,
get-go.
got it.
That sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I would say apply. Definitely.
Mhm. Well, we'll see. Like you
Yeah.
say, I mean, if there are people who haven't before, it's okay, but I'll definitely apply because it's always the goal.
Right. Well, and you don't know you don't even know whether we'll get as many people as we want to get, right? So I think the point is that every idea is a good idea. So just apply. And then that way, um, whoever's on the curation team can do the work of selecting the hard work. That's the hardest part, right? Is selecting the speakers. But yes, I think we could just make sure that as long as we move away from the personal stories and move back into, yes, what you said, Belkis, which is ideas, what's sharing, right? So if you have a personal story, yes, but what's the idea? Um, what are we moving towards? What are we doing? All right. Okay, so the next thing I have, just so that we can end on time, is I wanted people to start thinking about what roles you want to play on the team. So even when you do get selected to be a speaker, let's just imagine, it's going to be kind of helpful for you to know ahead of time. And I know the ones who've helped before, know what spaces look like in terms of helping. But I would say right now, I'm looking for one person to help with show curation. And what that really means is just helping to see how it's coming together, like almost like having an eye to see how, like, I don't know why I thought of a dress. I have no idea why, but if I was a dress designer, you would be the person who's the designer. Like I would be the one, maybe, like, I don't know, putting the pieces of clothes together, and you're the designer who can see the big picture of how this dress looks, whatever, on the red carpet. Does that make sense?
That would include like deciding order of speakers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was hoping that. Oh, okay. And I saw that hand that I was looking for. So I think we have one nomination from somebody to be our curator of the show, and so that's Leticia. So Leticia raised her hand. Leticia, do you want to tell us a little bit more?
Oh no, I was raising my hand about a question.
Oh man. Okay, I'm not removing your name from that, but go ahead. Go ahead. Or Dr. Tammy, one of you two I was hoping would do it, but go ahead.
So I guess my question is, if we are going to apply,
Mhm.
is there a meeting that we should not come to?
No, well,
Okay.
if there's whenever we are selecting the speakers, we'll have a separate meeting for that. And I think what happened, right, Dr. Tammy, we just didn't allow you to come.
We just didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But Lisa, but if you want me to do, I like to do, I like
Yeah.
broadcasting. So you can definitely
Okay.
put me down.
Okay, I'll put
to
Dr.
help with
Tammy.
that, so.
Thank you. Okay, so Dr. Tammy, so y'all know just now she just agreed to be the co-organizer of this event. So she's curating the entire event for us. So first of all, congratulations, Dr. Tammy. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So yay, I'm so excited. Okay, so we know, and you're the perfect person because our theme is Jedi, and so you are it right now. That's exactly your space of work, right? And I think you're just gonna bring this very, I guess you could say, I don't want to say academic is good as opposed to what else, right? No, I want to say that you're gonna bring this structure, right, to the process, and I'm gonna enjoy the fact that I can just be crazy, and Dr. Tammy will bring the structure of the academic lens. So thank you so much for that. The other part that was a bit critical, and we were doing it last minute, was sponsorship and partnerships. And I think with the partnerships and the sponsorships, it's really a matter of finding out who is available to, who wants to be featured, I guess you could say, as being a TEDx supporter. So I would put that on everyone, right? So if you know any businesses out there that want to be recognized as a sponsor, we don't have sponsorship levels, so people gave what they could, and I think it worked out really well because some people gave more than others. If I think we would have put a number on it, it would have ended up being different. But what I do want to say is, because this year we don't necessarily need to buy a sign anymore, there's a lot of things we're not needing to pay for, that just have maybe the people, the sponsors or the partners, maybe they can also get creative, right? We don't know what they may want to offer. So if you know anybody who wants to get creative with what they want to offer, let me know. One thing I did want to mention is I was going to the TEDx website to try to order something like from the shop, but I saw that it was down. And then I did message the person who had that site, but I haven't heard back from them. So I don't know whether they took the site, the TEDx shop, you know how we had it on that, one of our partners last year had it. I don't know, like it. Anyway, I didn't anticipate for it to go to not be available anymore. So I think we may have to start from scratch with the store. So that's another thing to consider. So
well, I'm hoping that they just, because you can hide pages.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping they just hit it where they can just hit a button and they're willing to allow it to still be there. So maybe when you hear back from them, it'll be good news. Because it was actually nice, and it was already put together. So
and it was easy for us, we didn't have
but
to.
I also know on web pages, like you can hide a page from view,
and
and they may have just done that for space because of the holidays. So I'm hoping something like that.
Because maybe they have a number of products they can show. I see. Yeah, got it. Okay, yeah. So I'll wait to hear back. Go ahead, Stephanie. Sorry.
Oh, I was saying, it was probably timed because I know they've done different events as well. So maybe they saw it as an event, not a year round, like this is going to be there the whole year.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll definitely let her know that we want it to be all year, forever. Leticia, yes, we do have some sponsorship stuff that I can send you. So for example, things like a sponsorship letter, press release, all the stuff we have that we did last year. So I'll definitely can send that to you. So are you saying that because you want to be able to help us maybe even edit it for this year? She's like, no. Okay. Feel free.
Do you
Stephanie?
want more writing in addition to what you're already doing, is what she's asking. No.
Okay. Well, we just need to make it this year, right? So all the stuff we did last year, we just need to do 2021 versions, right? So Stephanie, did you say you can do that?
I can look at it.
Yay. Okay, I'll put you on that and then I'll share them with you. Oh, where did I write Stephanie? In the chat. It's like, I'm not seeing her name there. Okay, perfect. So I'll assign those to you so we can already start on that, even the press release. So it's ready to go, speakers announced, all of those templates are just ready to go. And then I was gonna ask if Zoraida can help us being the video production manager, because she happens to know these two groups, Twins Media and Gerald. And then she knows Jonathan from last time. So I don't know if she'll be willing to, but it would be good to have one person who's like corralling the video producers, if that makes sense. And then speaker coaches. So I know, Barb, you already said that you would be interested, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you down. And then anybody else who would want to help will come along. I think I'll ask if Megan wants to do it again. And then I think we did not have a good experience before, so we're just going to be sensitive to that in terms of who we ask to support next time. Does that make sense? So yeah, that is pretty much it. One thing I did want to mention is we did talk about how much more support we need to give our speakers. So right now I'm actually taking a TEDx class so that I can be able to teach the TEDx master class. It's not going to be like 100% perfect because Ted's not teaching it and they are amazing. I'm just going to give you what I learned from the class.
You're amazing and you're Toastmasters and all of that. It'll be fine. It'll be great.
So I just want to let y'all know. So I'm preparing for it. And as soon as we select our speakers, I almost feel like whenever we select them, we'll almost have like the first meeting we have with them will be this class. Does that make sense? And everyone's welcome to come to it. I'll just want to be able to give them the TEDx master class on how to give a TED talk. And I think that'll be a good level setter for them to start working on their talk better. Yay, Dr. Tammy. Okay. Well, I'm super excited. Was there anything else? I know we are right at 10 o'clock, which is our time to end. I think we did quite a bit.
Do we need graphics for it already?
We do. We totally do. So do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'll see if I can do it.
Which you did last time, right?
Yeah.
So marketing and graphics as well. You're amazing. Yeah, so again, anything that you have, there's not a space in this 10x space of organizing that we can't fill with your talent. So if you have a talent in whatever it is, I'm pretty sure we can bring it here. Like, I want to give you an example. We have Simone, who came last year. She was there for the event, and she was just this video producer, like out of nowhere, right? She had this special talent to just create these videos. She did the sponsorship video. She did the video for the kids at the park. There's just so much that she brought to it that I wasn't even expecting, right? We didn't even talk about doing a production video. She did it, right? So any ideas that you have of things that you already know how to do and you're talented in, feel free to let us know. All right. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for the meeting today. And like we always do, I'm going to take a picture. If you don't want to be in the picture, you can turn your camera off. But I'm taking it now. Okay, 1, 2, 3, say cheese. Perfect, I got it. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye, Andrea.
Good to see y'all.
Bye, Belkis. Belkis is gone. Bye, Stephanie. Bye, Carla.
Bye.
See you next time. See you next time.
Bye, Lisa, I have one question. I was looking at this application and so we have to fill out, to be an organizer, you need a TED